Okay, today we're going to take a few minutes to walk you through how to get registered and do some activities on AlleeOop WorkReady Mobile. There is a handout sheet and perhaps also an email with a link to a URL that takes you here to crprep.workreadymobile.com. There's also on the handout sheet 2 QR codes for Android or iOS if you want to download the app. AlleeOop is merging with another company called WorkReady. So the app is actually in the app stores as WorkReady Mobile. And on the handout, you can see the logo, the green and white logo for WorkReady Mobile. That would be what you'd look for in the app stores to download. However, if you go to this URL, hit the QR codes, or download WorkReady Mobile, you're going to all end up at this screen here. And this is the login screen. What we're going to do is go to the upper right-hand side where it says sign up. See this up here in the upper right? We're going to click that. And now we're going to get a screen that's going to ask us, are we signing up as a learner or as a leader? So for students, we're going to sign up as a learner. Our teachers are going to sign up as a leader. So let's go through this as a student. We'll click on learner and we will get a pop-up here. Now that's going to ask us for our personal information. If you notice, there are several fields where you need to put information, but we only are concerned about the ones where there's the red asterisk. So let's go ahead and put a name in. I'll just do a generic. When you're signing up, you need to utilize your CR Prep email address for the username. So whatever your Cedar Rapids Prep email is, that's what you're going to use here. Phone number, if you notice, there's not a red dot there. It's not required. If you want to enter it, it doesn't get shared with anybody, but we can utilize that to send you a reward if you've earned a reward. Learner ID, we don't need to put anything there. And then obviously you want to choose a password. And we'll scroll down. Under location, there's only going to be one option for you here. We're just going to choose CR Prep. Don't have to choose a program or a group code. We're going to check the box to confirm we're not a robot, and then select sign up. We'll get the pop-up here where we accept the terms and conditions and privacy policy. And once we do that, then it will complete our registration and into AlleeOop WorkReady Mobile. You get your welcome screen here. And so there's a few things I want to point out to you. On the left-hand side is the menu where we have various things that we can go through, and we'll touch on those all in a few minutes. Up here is where you're going to get some notifications. So this alarm bell is where you'd get notifications if you have a due date up on a goal you've set. These text bubbles, obviously, that's if we have unread messages. Okay. And if you notice this circle here with the initials, if you click on that, then you do have an option to choose to customize your profile where you can either upload a photo of yourself, or if you wanted to, you could choose a logo, for example. If I wanted to customize this, I'll just click on upload a photo. So how about this? I'm a fan of the Hawkeye, so I'm going to choose a Hawkeye logo and I'll upload that. And then it gives me the option to make sure I have it sized correctly. There we go. I'm going to save that. And so now my profile has a Hawkeye logo and I'm all set. Okay, so now I want to show you some things that we're going to work on our profile. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to goals, click on goals, and there's a few categories of goals that we can work on. So the first one is where we create a statement of purpose. Second category is where we put down long-term life goals. So maybe it's about a career you want to pursue, or it could be about owning a home in the future or traveling the world. Whatever your long-term goals are, we're going to put those there. And then we get down to the bottom. The other part we're going to focus on here over the next few weeks is creating at least one SMART goal and trying to achieve that goal so we can earn a reward. The first thing we're going to do is create a purpose statement. So we'll go ahead and we will click on the purpose statement, and then it'll give us the option to add a goal or add a purpose statement. So we will select that. If you note, just right here, it says add a goal. All right, so we're in the purpose statement. We're going to add to the purpose statement. And this form, in essence, comes up. And if you notice, there's questions in the dark, bold text. And then in gray, there are some suggestions to help you along the way. Once again, similar to the registration process, we're only required to fill out the boxes where there's the red asterisk. So for here, we're going to start with going to give it a name. And this could be your name or whatever, but obviously I created this profile under John Demo Student. So this is going to be John Demo Student's purpose. And so then the first question comes, what do you enjoy? Write down activities, hobbies, or subject you love. List at least 3. Sports. All right, so I chose 3 things: sports, music, and being outdoors. Question 2, who are you? Write 3 to 5 words that describe you today. So I would say I am honest, hardworking, funny, whatever words describe you. Go ahead and put those down, okay? Now the third question, who do you want to become? Who do you want to become? Write 3 to 5 words that you want people to use to describe you in the future. Okay, so maybe you're shy now and you want people to think of you as outgoing. It could be anything, or maybe it's, if honest was the first one, I want to make sure that they continue to think of me as honest as I move through life. Honest and genuine are 2 important words to me, so I'll put those there. I would also say successful and generous. All right, so there are several words there: honest, genuine, successful, and generous. Question 4, what is your dream life? Write 2 to 3 goals about your future. Think about what you would do in your dream life. Okay, so this is where you want to think big. If everything came together and you could have any future life that you dream of, what would it look like? And so it could be all right, so I put, I'd like to find a job in sports where I found the work interesting and rewarding. Family that is happy and secure. All right, I'd like to own my own home, be able to take care of my parents. There's no wrong answers here. Remember, this is your dream life, whatever it might look like. Just go ahead and put it down. There's no specific formula required. There's no certain subject you need to touch on. Just want you to think about, what would your perfect life look like? Question 5, why does it matter? So for each goal, ask yourself why, and then ask yourself why again. So for example, if it's, well, my goal is to be a doctor, and the question is why, it's because I want to help people. And then why do you want to help people? It's because I want to make a difference in the world. And so you would put down, I want to make a difference in the world, right? So start asking those questions. So so I had put up here, I want to take care of my parents. And so I want to give back to my parents all they have done for me. I want to be able to wake up each day feeling great about my life. Add anything else you want. Just, again, no wrong answers. Just put some things down for yourself, okay? And now step 6, this is where we try and create a first purpose statement. So we're going to take all your answers from up above. Think about the things you like, the things you say you want to achieve, what your perfect world, your perfect life would look like, and just try and put them in a few sentences. You don't have to worry about having it sound perfect or be structured a certain way. Just share your thoughts that are honest to yourself. So as an example, you might use this sentence structure. If it's easier for you, you can say, my purpose is to use my blank and blank to do blank because of blank. So for example, my purpose is to use my brains and my heart to become a doctor because I want to make people's lives as great as possible, right? So that would be a way you could follow this, but whatever you want to put. So just go ahead and put in okay, something like that. Then you notice the next few, there's no red asterisk. We don't need to fill those out right now. And we can go all the way to the bottom and select save. And when we've done that, we've created our first purpose statement. Now, one of the things that we want you to know about this purpose statement is that once we've created it, it's there and our teachers and our mentors can look at it and give feedback, which is great because as they are working with us, they want to help us make everything we just said would be part of our dream life, make those things become a reality. And in the future, if you want to edit it, you would just go over here and you can edit, right? Or you can add a new one if you want to have several versions, and then all the versions will be saved. Now, if I go back into goals after we've created our purpose statement, I want to give you an example of how you would go about creating a long-term life goal. So again, we go to the goal section. And within the goal section, we're going to choose the second section here, which is creating a life goal. So what is a life goal you want to establish for yourself? So again, once again, we'll go down here to select add a new life goal. Right. And a form will come up. And once again, we just worry about the ones where there's the red dot. So here's, let's just say I want to set a goal of running a marathon. That's a good long-term life goal, right? I don't need to do it today or tomorrow or next week, but I want to run a life goal. And then here it says choose the type of life goal. If I click this box here, it's going to give me some options. All right. And so this is definitely a health and wellness one. All right. And then specifically state your goal for the category. For example, don't get in better shape, but create a goal like work out 3 to 4 times per week or run a marathon. So we already chose run a marathon. So we can just say, but I'm going to get more specific. Here we go, run a marathon within the next 5 years, right? So now it's much more likely I'm going to achieve that because I've put some timeline to it, all right? So what's the relative timeline for the goal? We just said 5 years, okay? You notice some of these questions, they're repetitive because we want to make sure we think through all these things. What are some ways we can measure if we're trending to reach / live up to your long-term goal? Okay, well, you can't just not do anything and then one day just wake up and go run a marathon. So we can say, so I'm going to run races of longer and longer lengths until I run a marathon. So maybe I run a 5-mile race and then a 10, and then a 15, and then a 20, and then a marathon is 26.2 miles. Okay. Are there any people or resources you need to ensure you reach your goal? Yes. A trainer would be helpful. Maybe a nutritionist. Make sure I'm eating well. Okay. And I'm going to also put a running partner because it's a whole lot easier to get out there and work out when you have someone else that's doing it with you. Okay. Now in this one here, it might make sense for me to do a short-term and a long-term goal. So I can say, if I'm going to try and run a marathon, maybe completing a half marathon, if I want to complete a marathon in 5 years, then maybe what I need to do is say I want to complete a half marathon at least halfway. All right, so I'm going to say by 2028, July 15th, I'm going to complete, so you can see July 15th, 2028, I'm going to run a half marathon. And then my long-term goal, and I can enter the due date, and I'll just take it all the way out to 2029. By the end of 2029, I want to complete that. And then I go to the bottom and I hit save. And just so you know, when we set the short-term and long-term goals and put a date to them, now on the app, you'll start getting reminders when you have a goal coming up to help you make sure that you stay on task and on target. And so the last thing we're going to do within the goal section is a SMART goal. So this is something that we're going to set. You can tie it to some of your schoolwork at Cedar Rapids Prep. It can be about something that you want to learn. It could be maybe a skill you want to develop. But we go into the SMART goals, and once again, it's just like the other spaces. We are going to create a new SMART goal, and a form will come up. And the process is the same as what we did in the other ones. But this one, the form is very specific to creating a SMART goal. So again, a SMART goal is one where it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay, and you notice those fields all have the red dot, red asterisk. And so we will get a name for the goal. So maybe your goal is I'm going to get to level 6 on my reading program. Or it could be I'm going to turn in all my late homeworks by June 1st. Whatever your goal is, whatever makes sense for you, give it a name and say specifically what you're going to do. How are we going to measure it? Meaning, how do we know that you've achieved it or you're on your way to achieving it? Is it realistically achievable in the time frame, right? Is it relevant to helping you build your best life? And then time bound, like what time we're going to do it in, and is that a realistic time? Okay. Same thing, short-term and long-term benchmarks. If you want to put something in, you can, but it's not required. Then if you see this files here, you can upload a file to this goal if it's important or relevant. So for example, when I set the goal on the last, the long-term life goal of like running a marathon, if I wanted to put, maybe I found online a marathon training schedule, and I could upload that as basically a roadmap for how I would go from not being ready to run a marathon to training and getting better and better and stronger until I could actually run the marathon. For you, with whatever goals you set, let's say you set a goal to get to a certain level in your reading or math programs. Well, when you get there, you can do a screenshot, and then you can upload an image of that screenshot to prove that you reached the goal, right? So that's how we show that we reached the goal. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so it's not going to let me save because I didn't fill out all the fields. Remember? See? This answer is required. So that's how you would create a SMART goal. And at the end of this process, as we get towards the end of the year, we're targeting June 10th. We're going to see who has completed a purpose statement, set a long-term life goal, and then set a SMART goal and followed through and reached their SMART goal. And we'll be working with Cedar Rapids Prep and your advisory teachers to hopefully give each of you a reward for doing such a great job and following through and reaching your